Hello, ESR community as a whole, and 3D Speed in specific, and of course anyone who's not part of the community that happens to stumble across this video. Welcome to the 3D Speed Fall 2020 preview video. I haven't historically done these actually, but there's a couple of items I want to discuss from a series administrative standpoint, but also hit you up with a preview of the custom liveries and other liveries that will be featured in this series. So let's just get to the low point of the video. Custom liveries. In ACC, custom liveries are an unsupported feature, and it seems like the dev team took this to mean that they could do it in a not terribly sensical / efficient way of doing it. What do I mean by this? So when a custom livery, either an in-game custom livery that is done in a manner similar to this, I pick the Aston Martin V12, I put my team name, my color name, and I choose my my design here. Let's say that I want to go with, man, they really have nothing good for this car. Let's go with design 2. I choose my color here. We'll go with that, and then that, and I actually kind of like the color combo, I'm not going to lie. I guess black. Like, you know, I go with something like that. I name the team, and then voila, I have a livery. All right, when that loads into the game, it causes lag with the online server, and it's more if you go through the full custom file process, which we'll see some examples of later. This is not a problem if everybody is ready to load in basically right when the server starts, because the blip would occur when everyone's just loading into the pits. No problems, we're good to go. Those of us who have done a series, of course, are very aware that that is not what we traditionally get. We get people arriving during practice at all through. We get people arriving during qualifying. And if you get one of these blips during that time period, you could lose a hot lap or crash the car or whatever, and any number of relatively negative things. And there's also a bit of a cascade error, which is a human brain error where, oh, I have lag, I need to go rejoin. And the problem is that you're now going to blip everyone else. Now, if you come in with an official livery, like the one being displayed right here, this blip is very small, and it grows exponentially through basically the in-game custom and then to like file sizes and so on, making it worse. You can avoid this by just not having custom liveries. Either you don't install them or the league doesn't allow them. We have elected to allow them. Whether you wish to install them or not is your call, but you will see blank cars where there is a custom livery. That is up to you. That being said, we are going to have to institute some ideas here that the custom liveries are a privilege as opposed to a right within the community. What I mean by that is that to maintain your status to be allowed to use a custom livery, you have to be arriving to the race relatively on time, preferably during practice. And also, it'll be a way to encourage particularly good behavior with the stewarding process, because if you get into an accident, there's a chance, if you get into an accident, because it wouldn't be like that, but if you're someone who's taking a penalty on a race-by-race basis or every 2 races or whatever, we may have to look at treating you as a second-class citizen when it comes to the custom liveries, because it's a privilege, not a right. There you go. So there. I've finished that part. I'm looking forward to a good, clean season here. And it is our first season with Assetto Corsa Competizione. There will be undoubtedly some teething problems, some growing pains, but hopefully we can get on top of them and answer them as quickly as possible. The practice races have gone fairly well at Monza and at Barcelona. Some things I'm not super happy about. The Barcelona one had some odd stuff at the start, but also it was a very greasy track, and such track conditions often produce not the greatest of driving. So let's get into what you're really here for, which is the preview of the cars. The car in front of you will be the number 39 Aston Martin, driven by solo driver Andrew Anderson. I do believe this is the one he is using, although specifically he didn't necessarily tell me, so it might actually be this one here. I am hoping it's this one here. I like this one a lot better. The only flaw in it is that it's just the white and blue combo is very, very used on the grid in the official liveries, but this is a very nice one. The R Motorsport Aston Martin crew. He'll be running a solo. Another solo Aston Martin will be run by Silver Cup entry Francis Blonde. Francis will be running a custom livery that I don't have on this computer because it's just an in-game custom. It will be the red, yellow, and black Aston Martin. Fairly simple. There are 3 levels of entry. We have Pro entries, Silver entries, and AM entries. There's a separate championship for the Silvers and the AMs to take home, but they are involved in the overall title with the Pros. So keep that in mind. We also have the Cyberline Racing crew, which consists of this man here, Richard Higgs, in the yellow Aston Martin. He'll be joined by the orange Aston Martin of Samina Naku. This is my favorite of the bunch, I think. Ready to go. And Silver Cup entry, Wayne Hutchison in the red. Wayne, buddy, why do you keep picking red? Why do you keep picking red cars, and then when you're my teammate, you pick the gold and black one that I kind of want, and leave me with the red one? I'm puzzled. But anyways, that is the Aston Martin crew. We have 5 of them in the field. Stunningly enough, no Audis have joined up for this season, but we do have a trio of Bentley Continentals. They are all using identical liveries to this one here, the Bentley M Sport team. The 107 car will be driven by Silver entry Tony Yimbo, who is new to ESR. Welcome, Tony. And also joining him will be Cliff Hemian, an AM entry, also new to the team, new to the group. And a possible championship favorite, the 110 car, will be driven by Dominic Turcotte. Dominic has done very, very, very well in the preview races, and I think is probably the odds-on favorite, although interesting enough, if you take Mike Stoppmill and Caleb Gonzalez out of a championship, things get really tight at the top. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing a very good battle. I think Dominic is one of the guys who's going to be in that hunt for the Bentley team. No BMWs, not surprising, it's a bit of a weak car. We do have 3 Ferrari 488s in the field, though, led by the 333 car of Silver entry Rick Martel. Rick is one of 2 former 3D Speed champions in the field. He is looking for a Silver Cup trophy for his troubles, but has not picked that up yet, but I think is one of the early favorites to take the Silver Cup. Also joining him in the Silver Cup for Ferrari will be the AF Corsa car. I believe it is this one here, and it will be driven by Tom LaBeouf. You may know him as Market Crash. I would say his silver rating is a little bit more unsure. He's not raced with us in a while. He had been higher than silver last he competed, but seems to be struggling a little bit with the conversion to Assetto Corsa Competizione. We will see what happens with that. He may be promoted to a pro entry. You never know. But he is currently in the silver category, and the lone pro Ferrari is the custom car of Murrah Racing, driven by William Murrah. Not so keen on this custom livery. Very, very plain. Couple of nice sponsors though. The ESR, Autodesk, Logitech, AMD. I'm assuming those reference his computer. And he will be driving the 961 Ferrari, and is a potential champion, I think. The lone Hondas on the field are the Kaz Motorsports crew. They will be driving the Moto Drago Corsa cars. The number 34 car will be driven by Dixon Hurst, and the number 134 by John Picha. Both will be competing in the silver category for this upcoming season. I really like this car. Very, very nice livery. It's a shame the Honda is a little bit further down on the BOP, but we will see how they do. Dixon Hurst did quite well at the Barcelona race, so definitely not lame ducks. The lone Lamborghini team is going to be the M&M Motorsports crew. They are... Ooh, that is the wrong car. This is the car I want. They will be running the Barwell Motorsports car. Matt Higgs would be a championship contender if it wasn't for the fact that him and his dad share the seat, and Matt's trying to get his own rig and so on, so he may miss the entire season at this point is a possibility, but he will be driving, hopefully at some point, the number 69 Lamborghini. And joining him in the 520 is another championship favorite, an actual Assetto Corsa champion, Murray Iwanchuk, who is the only man in the field who has an ESR Assetto Corsa title to his name, although it was not the 3D Speed Series. That will be interesting. We move to the Lexus. This is the most popular car on the grid, and of course, we have the Emil Frey crew, LZA Racing Zoltan Kalmandi, and Antonio Guardia? I don't know. Hang on. I'm looking at your name. Antonio Garda will be racing the LZAs in the Pro category with the numbers 8 and 43 in this white Lexus here. And the blue Lexus will be inhabited by the number 44 driver, Larry Foster, and he will be competing in the silver category. This is a solid team, and I'm looking forward to see what they can do. The other Lexus team, though, is the Vortex GT Mafia crew. In the number 12 car is the other former ESR 3D Speed champion, Paul Rick O'Benny. With the Fight Milk sponsorship, he is ready to go. Joining him in the number 47 is Javier Perez Torres. He'll be competing in the silver category, repping Stone Brewing sponsorship. And finally, the Moosehead Balls sponsored car of Mike Magus, who will compete in the silver category with the number 714. Gunner also on his car, as well as Norse Storm Technologies. That's a completely fictitious company that is from another video game, and RaceQuip will be the sponsor. And we will all have, if I can get a good view of it, the Vortex Mafia label on the back. The final Lexus is the lone one that is entered as a solo entry. It will be driven by Guillermo Wolf. It is the Renwork car here, the number 28 car. Very nice looking livery despite being very minimalistic. So actually you can do a lot with very little, which is nice. So that's it for the Lexus, the most popular car on the grid. I'm happy to see that because the Lexus is one of the easier cars to drive. On the Sunday series, of course, the Porsche has been this thing that everyone's gravitated towards, and it's caused problems. I would like to see a little bit more diversity. The Audi seems bizarrely unpopular in every series. That's the only one that's kind of really puzzling me. But anyways, moving on, we got two McLaren 720s in the lineup. They are the Team Cabron cars. The number 74 will be driven by silver driver Alfonso Chacon, and the number 17 car by pro entry Guillermo Wiley Coyote Martinez. I think this will be a fun team, although Alfonso will miss the first couple of races due to some technical issues. Moving on, we got the Mercedes crews. Popular car in the grid. Good to see. First up, there is Chris Johnston, who will be driving the green Black Falcon car with the number 55 on it. Looking forward to seeing his return full-time to an ESR series. It's been a while. Also joining him in the sort of satellite Black Falcon option will be AM entry Juan Ramos. He'll be driving the anime car, and that will be the Good Smile Typhoon Racing, or Type Moon Racing car. So looking forward to seeing that one on track as well. And also joining them in a custom car entry will be Silver Cup driver and Borderlands fanatic Mauricio Delgado in the number 49 car. Very nice looking car. And also representing Mercedes is the 9 Scheiße entry. That is Ryan Gonzalez, an AM entry in the number 124. They made it a silver car. That's interesting because he is an AM entry, so that'll be fun. Very nice looking car as well. And the only team representing Mercedes will be the HWA Race Lab cars driven by Simtech Race Lab drivers Juan Borji, who will be competing in the AM category, and Guillermo Taylor in the 77 car will be competing in the silver category. Moving on, we have one Nissan team in the field. That is the Regime Racing Crew, the number 3 car of Justin Swan. These are all pro entries, which does make the team illegal. The reason, of course, is Justin recently got his pro status and Ben Chouari was a bit in the gray zone, so we kind of let it happen. There will be some kind of evening thing in the team's championship to keep this team from running away from it. Ben Chouari will drive the number 76 here in the Crown Royal Black. And finally, the HKS Super Oil car, the number 86, driven by Mika Watt. Very potent lineup for Nissan. And rounding it off, you knew there were going to be Porsches. You knew I didn't dissuade everyone from doing it. We have the independent entry, pro entry, Martino Maglioli, or Tino Mag, as he is sometimes known. He'll be racing the Gulf Oil liveried car here. And also joining him will be the 3-car team from Rebel Racing, which will consist of the number 14 car of Liam Curtin, aka the Snowman. He'll be racing in the pro category. Silver driver Andreas Lecutis will be driving the number 54 car, and the number 119 of Wesley Stokes rounds off this team. Wesley's got to be another guy who you got to look at as a championship potential. Has possibly the most wins of anybody in the field in 3D speed history, with a lot of the dominant drivers being missing. But front and center with Dominic Turcotte, Murray Iwanchuk, William Murrah, Paul Riccobeni. I think those are the names. I think Matt Higgs will be an important mover and shaker in this championship. I think Ben Chouari could be a very interesting addition depending on how he gets on with the ACC game. He had been a contender in the race room days. And the Silver Cup could go to almost any silver driver. We got 14 of them in the field. I do believe it's 13 or 14. It is 14. So, I mean, a tough battle for Francis Ballon, Mauricio Delgado, Tom LaBeouf, Rick Martel, Tony Yimbo, Alfonso Chacon, Wayne Hutchison, Dixon Hirsch, John Picha, Larry Foster, Andreas Lecutis, Guillermo Taylor, Javier Perez Torres, and Michael Magus in that regard. And the AM Cup up for grabs between Juan Borji, Cliff Hemian, Juan Ramos, and Ryan Gonzalez. Attendance will be key for those 4 drivers because, of course, that's a lot of points every race up for grabs in the AM Cup. So that's the cars. That's the fun. Where are we going in this series? I mean, that's obviously the big question. Where is this series going to be headed? Well, let's have a look at the tracks that we'll be enjoying for. By the time you see this, it'll be probably the day of the opening race of the season, which will be at Barcelona. This track is kind of mid-engine favored, so good chance for the mid-engines and the Porsches to get a good lead on the front-engine cars. The Lexuses, the Nissans, the Mercedeses, the Aston Martins will be a little bit handicapped here, but not a ridiculously so. You still got to be able to bring it as a driver to bring home the bacon. Brands Hatch will feature the second race of the season. I believe the shortest track on our calendar. I'll correct myself if I notice something shorter, but just 9 corners. Very short track, but one that brings intense racing, challenging driving, and it'll be very interesting because Brands Hatch is one of those tracks that actually has some specialization to it. After that, we'll be heading to a track that I simultaneously hate, but think that my car will be pretty solid at, and that is Zolder. So Zolder will be next after some bad memories during last season. We will hope to put those aside. The site of my best results so far this season in ACC is Zandvoort, and it hosts round number 4 of the championship. So get ready for that. And then the final 2 rounds will take us to Misano, which is a circuit I really, really do like. It's a very confusing circuit, very counterintuitive. We will see how that goes. And the season rounds off at the Hungaroring, which I believe is the longest track we're going to. It's either that or Barcelona. Oh, it's Barcelona. Never mind. It is Barcelona by a fairly long shot. But Hungaroring rounds off the settings. Closest thing I have to a home Grand Prix in the game right now. Of course, being from Yugoslavia, now living in Canada, we have nothing in Canada. We have nothing in Yugoslavia in the game. Hungary is a little bit to the north. Chances are very unlikely we'll get anything else in the Balkan Peninsula in this game. So Hungaroring, closest thing I have to a home track, and it will finish the season off. So get ready for that. This will be an enforced entry list server, which should keep things from being problematic, but it does mean that if you have not confirmed your entry list, and I will give a list of drivers on Discord beforehand, that you really, really, really need to do that as soon as possible. So there is that to continue to think about. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Commentary for these races will be provided by myself and Byron Dirksen, probably on the Friday of each week. And, we'll do it Thursday, but it'll be uploaded Friday is what I'm getting at. And it'll be a lot of fun, I think. I'm really looking forward to this series and what it can produce. Should be a good battle for the Team's Championship, good battle in the Silver Cup, good battle in the AM Cup, and a good battle for the overall trophy. So that is all you can ask from a series, and that's all I got. If you're looking to join the series, there is still room, but please consult the ESR ACC guides that I put together, because that will answer a lot of the most commonly asked questions that I get, and if we can avoid having to do those answers, it will greatly improve my mood. We'll put it that way. So have a good day, and go 3D Speed Series!